So, hey everyone, I would like to introduce you to this month's nonprofit, which Vickie Landis Rentsel is the founder of Breast Connection. Hi, Vickie, how are you?
Hi, Shelby. Doing great. Thank you.
I am glad to hear that. So, Vickie, I have obviously I've known you for years. You are a dear friend of mine. You're my broker. We deal in real estate together for years and years, but you have had a passion to create a nonprofit since the day I met you. And in 2021, you created it. And I had to end the year with your nonprofit. So would you please tell everyone about Rest Connection?
Would love to. Breast Connection really, well, let me start by telling you that it is the culmination of over 30 years of me living out a passion to help women who are transitioning out of crisis into a life of resilience and overflow, and everything that it takes to get them from one place to another so that they can get there. And ultimately, because I've been doing this for 30 years, I got to a place where I realized that this thing that we needed to do for women was a lot bigger than what I could do. So I just felt led by God to open up, to start this nonprofit organization so that others in the community could rise up and support our work. But even more so that the women that we have helped and brought through our program have the platform that they can utilize to be more effective at helping people. Because what we've learned is that when women go through our program and they, just come out of just the situations that the bad, some of them bad situations that they've been in, and get to a place where they've grown through that. And now they're emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually stable and operating in overflow. The natural thing for them to do is to come back and guide other women through that process. Right. So the organization Rest Connection really exists to support the women who we've supported and other women within the community who have survived and gone through it to come back and help other women. So we come alongside them. We provide mentorship services to them. We provide mentor training so that they can mentor other women. And we also provide gap funding, which enables them to really, as they're assessing the needs of their friends and the women that they want to help, provides the gap funding for them to fill in the gaps, to help them with things like housing and food and counseling services, pet care, transportation, communication services, anything that they need immediately and on their journey that we cannot, through other groups that we collaborate with, provide the resources through. So we work along with a lot of other groups as well that are just totally focused and stellar, just exceptional organizations who provide services to women and others. So what we do is we collaborate with them. They oftentimes will provide very focused, specialized services, but in the gap, when those services aren't available, we can step in, particularly with the funding sources. We'll step in and we'll provide some of those funding while we're taking the women through the process of getting approved and connected with those resources. So in a nutshell, that's what a Rest Connection does.
Okay, well, I have lots of other questions. So you answered some of them already, but so you say a woman in transition. Define what that is. What is a woman in transition?
Well, I would submit to you that every one of us on the planet
True.
are in some form of transition.
Right.
Maybe I can answer that best by giving you kind of a story that repeats itself in our world over and over and over.
Okay.
So when I look back and many of the women that have come in, and I'll say under my mentorship, even before Rest Connection was created, because I've been doing this for 30 years. Many of them come in just having the bottom dropped out of their world, through death, divorce of a spouse, loss of a job, something that has just left them devastated. Now, I
Okay.
should, it might be a good time to let you know that our target market, if you will, the women that fit into our program best are not in any kind of an active addiction.
Okay.
They are not dealing with an untreated mental health disorder. These are women just like you and I, Shelby, who
Right.
have come to a place in life, you know, that they're strong, they're intelligent, they're determined to conquer life, but they've just had the bottom drop out, and you know, their hopes and their dreams have been shattered, and quite frankly, they just need somebody to come alongside of them. And because many of them are very independent in nature, um, if they don't have a reason to get up, if their kids are not rallying, you know, if they don't have kids or something that gives them a purpose to get out of bed, some of them just have a really, really hard time just dealing with the natural grief of a loss of life and a dream. So to have somebody come alongside of them and just befriend them, let them know, you know, it's going to be okay. And, you know, it's okay. It's normal to be where you are, what you're going through right now, but it's temporary. Just to be able to remind them of that, and then give them hope, a vision for the future, escort them through that process. That is priceless. So many of the women that we're dealing with, and to give you a story that repeats itself, come into us homeless, jobless, and I would even say bordering on, if not totally enveloped in hopelessness. And they stumble into our world through a referral or through just the grace of God. And from there, we're able to rally around them and help usher them through our rest connection process. A story might look like this. And I would encourage you to not judge what I'm about to say, because many women, many of us women will fall in love with a man. And we just think that all we see is butterflies and sunshine and all is going to be well. So we fall in love, move into our boyfriend's house. He's self-employed and runs a business. And we're smart, so we run his business. And then one day he wakes up and says, it's not working for me anymore. And in an instant, a strong, intelligent woman, a driver who has dreams of getting married and starting a family, is homeless and jobless in an instant. So not only is she homeless and jobless, all of her dreams have been shattered. She's grieving the loss of her relationship. She's grieving the loss of a job. She's grieving the loss of her hopes and her dreams. And it's devastating.
Right.
Unfortunately, community of women also have a tendency, you know, to come alongside their friends and talk about how awful that is and how terrible he is, and they feed the drama, right? No, I know none of you women do that, right? Women, you know, Shelby, you don't do that, Shelby. No, you know, oh, nobody does that. But women, isn't it? You know, by nature, oftentimes, unfortunately, have a tendency to feed the drama and think they're doing their friend a favor, when in fact they're not. So when we step in, our goal initially is to provide a safe place and a safe community for renewal. In fact, it might be a good time for me to tell you what rest connection means.
That would be wonderful. That's one of the questions I was going to ask. So you beat me to the punch. All right. So rest connection is an acrostic to really walk you through the stages of the healing process that we escort our women through. Okay. So R in rest stands for renew. So phase one is to bring these women into a safe environment, a safe community where they can catch their breath. If they're homeless, it's about getting them into some kind of housing where they can just breathe and feel safe, and have a place where they can sleep and eat healthy and just breathe for a minute or two, until they can stand back on their feet. Once they've caught their breath, which I say on average takes anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days. Okay. Right? Not more than that, but 2 weeks to 30 days for an average, strong-willed woman to just catch her breath and just kind of regroup.
So then in the next phase, and there is some crossover here, but the next phase is defined by empowerment. So we renew, we empower. During the empowerment phase, we're developing hope and a vision for the future. The goal during that period of time is to develop a strategic plan that is tied in for the woman's vision for the future, which when they feel empowered then can roll into the stabilization phase, which is where we really dig in and begin implementing that plan.
Okay.
So we renew, we empower, stabilize. Once the woman is stabilized, and that can take about a year, and in some cases too, really depending on how much of a mess needs to be cleaned up, that is coming in. If there's a lot of debt, a lot of dysfunction, a need for some, if there's post-traumatic stress disorder or something where we need to roll into counseling, there can be some things, and I wouldn't even say that's not even a disorder, but post-traumatic stress, not necessarily a disorder, but some things that have to really be worked through can cause that process to take a little bit longer. But once we stabilize, right, when one stabilizes, then we can roll them into the transformation phase. And transformation is when they really start digging deep, because every one of us, no matter how well adjusted we think we are, we bring in stuff from our past that gets in the way of our success and our performance. And it takes a lifetime sometimes to undo what happens in our childhood. We don't even know, right? Until something happens where there's a moment of awareness and insight where we can say, wow, I had no idea that that belief was driving my behavior.
Right.
So during transformation is when one really digs in and is generally involved not only in a community with a mentor and with other, people that are encouraging, providing a platform for encouragement and empowerment, but they're also typically involved in some form of counseling to break things, to break the unhealthy cycles in their life, which involves addressing thinking patterns, belief systems, and habits. That takes time.
Right.
In a perfect world, though, for a very stable, strong-willed woman, it takes about 2 years to get through this process, because it takes 2 years to get even mourn the loss of what happened to get them there.
So do you have counselors on staff that are helping the women go through this transition?
We do not. Actually, we are an organization of totally volunteer at this point, total volunteer mentors. So they're friends helping friends. We as an organization do two things. Well, we do more than that, but two primary things. One is to equip women or mentors who've been through the process or have the ability to speak into somebody's life and the desire to do so. We want to equip them with all the information, the resources that they need in order to effectively do that. So we have a relationship and are growing a team of mentors who can mentor their friends. In some cases, by the way, a woman might come in with somebody in tow. And that happens a lot, right? Where they have somebody in tow and they say, oh, Vickie, can you help my friend? And I'm gonna say, we can help you help your friend. So you show up, you come in with our community of mentors, you get trained, you get the insight and the skills, develop the skills that you need. And then we will provide you, we will support you so that you can support them through this process. We will be able to provide funding when needed, right? So number one is we develop the community of mentors and we equip the mentors to mentor.
And so who's mentoring the mentors? Who's teaching the mentors how to behave?
Yeah, I will answer that as soon as I tell you number two, because number two is we maintain and continually work at developing an alliance with specialized services. And we've got a lot of really good organizations, nonprofit organizations who in our community who provide specialized services to this that address the specific needs that our women might face during every phase of their journey, right? So we align ourselves with the experts. Some of those experts roll back and provide resources and training, right? So a good part of what we're doing is connecting mentors to mentees, mentees and mentors to services, so that we're completing the cycle. Because one of the things that has compelled me to do this, and in all honesty, is that I've seen these women have needs, and there's organizations to help them, but they are so depleted in emotional, even mental energy, physical energy, that to do what it takes to plug in to those services and go the distance until you actually get the attention of and secure the services of an organization that can help, in and of itself, by the way, might put me into counseling, right? It's a really hard road. And some of these women come in without a cell phone because their technology has been compromised. So in that scenario, to call any of these services and because typically you're leaving a message. If you're homeless, you call the hotline, they call you back. Well, if you don't have a phone, there's no way to plug into the service. In the COVID environment in which we've been in, you can't go visit anybody. You can't go knock on an organization's door. Everything is done through technology, phone call, email. And when you're in crisis, you don't have the energy, and or you don't have the technology where you can even count, or the money, by the way, to pay a cell phone bill. There's a total breakdown. So the help is not there. So realizing that disconnect has caused me to come alongside these women and now bring other women in and train them to do the same, to walk through the entire process with them, from the moment of crisis all the way through renewal, empowerment, stabilization, transformation, while we're connecting them to everything that they need. And then the final phase is to roll them back in to mentor others through the process. So we are creating this cycle of paying it forward, because we're all volunteers, to see others pay it forward, to see others pay it forward. And the way we see our world is really this world of overflowing women impacting their communities with love and empowerment. And
so Vickie, is there if there's someone that's watching this right now and they're saying, wow, this is me, I didn't even know that there was a place for me to go to, is there an application process? Like, do you have to go through a series of questions and interviews to see if you qualify for the program, or is it just you take anyone?
Well, we don't take anyone because we can't. I mean, we are limited at this point. God willing, we won't be as limited as time goes, but we, as a mentee, we go through a vetting process. And quite frankly, because we are very specific in our mission about helping women that want to be independent and want to be in overflow and want to be in service to others. Even in crisis, somebody that is naturally wired that way knows it, right? They can't help themselves. Even when they're in crisis, they're helping other people and thinking about other people. So our mission is very specific about helping women that want to be helped, that want to do the hard work to get to a place where they're breaking negative cycles in their life and they're living in overflow. So we go through a vetting process where we do the initial consultation to a needs analysis, but then there's steps that they've got to go through to continue to show up. They have to continue to show up on the mentee side. Okay, mentors, same thing. We've got to go through that. We'll take them through a very similar process, and then an application phase where they've got to go through being vetted by the board of directors, or at least by the executive director, which is me at the moment. I am looking for a replacement, so if any of you want to be, if your viewers want to be considered for a replacement, I'm all in. But that really is, we do take people through that vetting process, because it's important that if we're going to be entrusting a mentee to a mentor, then
we
need
need to make
sure
sure that they're a positive influence and the right person to be mentoring.
And
So,
they know what they're doing, and they know who we
right,
are, right? So we
right.
definitely go through the vetting, the application, um, the certification phase. They've got to get trained. Now, having said that, though, I would tell you that, Shelby, if you show up tomorrow and you have not gone through that process, but you've got a friend in tow, we will engage you in our mentor community to pick up clues as to how you can help your friend. So
Gotcha.
that's open. Our mentor community is open because we want to empower as many women as we can to pay it forward in their community.
Right. So location wise, again, because this is going to be seen on YouTube and everything else, you're in Pennsylvania. What area are you focusing on? How far out are you going?
Right now, we are able to serve Bucks and Montgomery County. I mean, to be fair,
Okay.
we are kind of in upper Bucks and Montgomery County physically, as are the most of the mentors that we currently have. But here's what's so awesome about our platform is that we are not restricted by geographical boundaries. The only restrictions that we have, so if we had a mentor that came alongside and wanted to help their friend in South Carolina, why not? That can happen. We're not restricted as an organization on where we can contribute.
Okay.
But we don't necessarily have the relationships with the organizations
Right.
in any other community. So right now we're Bucks and Montgomery County.
Okay.
And working on building our Lehigh County connections now.
Okay. So whenever I talk to the nonprofits each month, I ask, what can we as a community do for you in your nonprofit organization? What do you need from us?
Right now, number one, pray. We need prayer. We need prayer coverage. On so many levels. You can pray for our women, and you can pray for the board and I as we make critical decisions and in our planning and on our growth. Our 5-year plan, remember we are wrapping up year 1 right now. Our 5-year plan was by year 5 to have a home for women, a transitional home for women, and then be working with landlords, which we're already doing, to provide more stable long-term housing.
Right.
As God would have it, we now have a facility available to us where we can have a home for women as early, where they could actually be inhabiting it as early as Valentine's Day of 2022. So
Awesome.
a month and a half from now, 2 months from now. A lot of pieces have to come together in order for that to happen, but so many pieces are coming together. It's blowing me away. We have people rallying around us, providing funding. We've got people rallying around us, offering to do work to renovate the property because it does need some renovations. And I even had someone this past week donate a whole house full of furniture.
Wow.
So we have the majority of our main living area furniture and even our kitchen furnished with stuff. We haven't done the full inventory yet to figure out what we're missing, but all of that stuff is now being held in a warehouse, just waiting for all the other pieces to fall in place. So our biggest need right now, honestly, and I say pray, we want to make sure that we as an organization are fiscally responsible and stable. And the last thing these women need is for the bottom to fall out financially.
Right.
So I've made a commitment to our board that we would raise $30,000 before we flip the switch on this. And we have everything in place now to flip the switch, with the exception of some key contractors to come in and work through the month of January to help us flip this. And we're still sitting at about, I think, I haven't checked today, but I think we're somewhere in, $24,000 that we yet need to raise yet in that $30,000. So we're doing an end of year push. So really that's what we need from the community. I've not talked to one person yet about what we're doing that has not said, wow, that's awesome. What can I do to help? So really, to answer your question, Shelby, what the community can do now, because we as a board are so busy doing the work that we need to get the word out. we need help getting the word out. So if you could pray, get the word out, and
Share this video. Share this
share this
video over
share
and
this
over.
video.
Let people know about you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to our website. For more information. You guys should go to our website, restconnection.org. That really clearly defines who we are, what our mission is, the players, that we engage with in.
Can they make a donation on the website?
They could absolutely make a donation on the website. Make that real easy for them. Absolutely.
So as we wrap up, Vickie, I always like to ask, is there something I should have asked you that I didn't ask you, that you wish I had asked you, that you want to tell us now?
Can you please send me an application?
Guys, I've known Vickie for I met you, Vickie, in 2008. 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, so 13 years you've been in my life, and you are a very, very important part of my life. And guys, I have watched her in 13 years take in so many women, and a roundabout way, I was one of the women that you helped many years ago, getting me into real estate and helping me become who I am as a businesswoman now. So I can attest for the fact of the love and the love that's there, but also the accountability that is there. It's not just, oh, we're going to fix you. This is, you can do this. You don't need to be fixed. You just need to understand what you're capable of. And that, I tell you, she and this team will do. So
Amen.
You can honestly, I can say this is a phenomenal organization, and I've watched you come together to put this together. So as your friend, I am so proud to call you my friend and just watch you and see what you've done. So guys, please go check out her website. There are so many women that need our help and our support. And there's so many other communities and connections that you have. This is a great organization. So please consider, just check it out. Let's help them raise their $30,000, because these women are going to rock the world. Thank you, Vickie.
Thank you, Shelby.
All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. This is the final nonprofit of Shelby Showcase, and God bless everyone.